introduced this wonderful staff here. They keep me informed of everything. They will test that I'm not one, as I've led several organizations around the globe, that I am not one to want to read it in the newspaper the next day without being informed. And I think they've taken me seriously with respect to that. They've been wonderful in my first year. Thank you so much for all of your patience with me, as my learning curve was steep, but once I got there, I'm looking on the other side of the mountain. So with that, I want to call this June meeting to order. Would you, Mr. Small, please call the roll?
Yes, just 1 second. I would like to first thank the folks here at the Horseshoe Indianapolis for hosting us, specifically Dan Nita and General Manager Trent McIntosh. Their hospitality is much appreciated, and thank you for having us. And now for the roll. Chairman Thompson.
I'm here.
Commissioner Cohen.
Here.
Commissioner Williams.
Here.
Commissioner Hill.
Here.
And participating via telephone, Commissioner Houseman.
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
All right, I'd like to call for approval of minutes for the March 9th meeting in 2023. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I move to approve.
Been motioned. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any questions or comments or requests for any changes in those minutes? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of the approval of the minutes, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
The ayes have it. The minutes are approved. Now, having the quorum and having reported those meetings, we'd like to have a report of the executive director, Mr. Small.
Thank you very much. I would first like to recognize a couple new hires for the commission. First off, in audit, we have Karen Kidd. She's a field auditor. She joins the Gaming Commission with a great deal of experience in accounting. She was previously employed by the Indiana Family Health Council as a staff accountant. She earned her bachelor's in business from Wesleyan University, and her knowledge and skill set is a wonderful addition to our growing audit staff. Next, in charity gaming, we have Heather Onefeld. She is our new assistant director of the charity gaming division. Absolutely. She has 17 years of experience in program management, administrative support, and customer service, with her last 7 years being in state government. She comes to us from the Indiana Department of Administration, where she was the director of contract compliance. She has also worked with the Family and Social Services Administration and the Indiana Department of Health. Heather is active in our community via service with the local PTO, Girl Scouts, United Way, and Habitat for Humanity. Welcome, both of you. Reinvestigations. Our investigations division has completed reinvestigations for licensees Rush Street Interactive, United Tote, and USPC. The confidential reports are in your materials. Directors Brown and Leak are present should you have any further questions. Exclusions. Since the March 2023 business meeting, commission staff has added 13 individuals to the exclusion list. With these additions to the exclusion list, the total is now at 994 individuals. Waivers. The IGC has also granted 12 waivers to Indiana casinos since the previous meeting. This information is included in your materials and will also be posted on the commission's website. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Small. Now that you're at the mic, would you please administer the oath of all the presenters today?
Absolutely. Anyone presenting for the commission, if you please stand. I state your name. Do hereby solemnly swear, subject to the penalties of perjury, to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Thank you all.
Thank you all, and thank you, Mr. Small. First of all, I'd like to call and see if there's any old business before the commission. Any old business? Hearing none, we'll go on to new business. Any new business before the commission? Hearing none, we'll move on to patrons report. First, we have these patron matters. Attorney Angela Viola, would you please come and present?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
You have before you Order 2023-52 concerning the exclusion list appeal of Mr. Christopher Carey. Mr. Carey is currently on the exclusion list, but submitted an appeal back in December 2022. A hearing was held with an administrative law judge, and the recommended order for Mr. Carey was that he remain on the exclusion list. Approving Order 2023-52 would have the effect of confirming Mr. Carey's exclusion from Indiana casinos.
Thank you. Is there a motion on Order 2023-52? Is there a motion? Is there an approval
Yes.
motion?
I'll make the motion. It'd be a motion to extend the exclusion. Is that correct?
Correct.
I make that motion.
I'll second.
It's been motioned and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of extension on the motion on the exclusion list, would you please signify by stating aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Hearing none, the motion is approved.
Thank you.
Licensing renewals. Mr. Neal. Thank you, Counselor.
Good morning, Commissioners, executive staff. You have before you Order 2023-53 pursuant to Indiana Code Section 4-33-7-8 and 68 IAC Section 2-2-8. The supplier's license must be renewed each year along with a payment of a $7,500 renewal fee. Each of the following licensees has submitted a timely request for renewal along with the required payment. That is EDF Compliance LLC, doing business as Odds On Compliance, Bally's Interactive LLC, White Hat Gaming, Konami Gaming Incorporated, Mask Publishing Incorporated, Every Payments Incorporated, Ainsworth Game Technology, United States Playing Card Company, Novomatic America Sales LLC, NRT Technology Corporation, Acres Manufacturing, Vickers VC Properties Incorporated, and Canby. And approving Order 2023 would have the effect of renewing the license of each of the respective licensees for a period of 1 year. And next on the agenda, you have before you Orders 2023-54 and 2023-55 regarding the renewal of Hard Rock Northern Indiana and Horseshoe Hammond Casino owners license renewals respectively. And Hard Rock Northern Indiana and Horseshoe Hammond have both filed the proper paperwork and paid their renewal fee. Previously, by Orders 2022-63 and 2022-64, the Commission had approved the written power of attorney for Hard Rock Northern Indiana and Horseshoe Hammond respectively. These approvals expire upon the renewal of the casino owner's license. And for that reason, all casinos must request renewal of the Commission's approval of that written power of attorney concurrently with the request for the renewal, or present the Commission with a new written power of attorney naming a new trustee in waiting. Hard Rock Northern Indiana and Horseshoe Hammond have both stated their intent to maintain their existing trustees in waiting and have not presented any new or modifications to their power of attorney. Approving Orders 2023-54 and 2023-55 would have the effect of renewing the license and approving the power of attorney for Hard Rock Northern Indiana and Horseshoe Hammond for a period of 1 year. And next, you have before you Order 2023-56, and pursuant to Indiana Code Section 4-38-8-1, a certificate of authority must be renewed each year along with a payment of $50,000 renewal fee. Hard Rock Northern Indiana has submitted a timely request for renewal along with the required payment. Approving Order 2023-56 would have the effect of renewing Hard Rock Northern Indiana's certificate of authority for a period of 1 year. And next before you have you have Order 2023-57 pursuant to Indiana Code Section 4-38-6-6. A vendor's license must be renewed each year along with the payment of a $50,000 renewal fee. Each of the following licensees has submitted a timely request for renewal along with the required payment. That would be Penn Sports Interactive and Digital Gaming Corporation, doing business as Betway. Approving Order 2023-57 would have the effect of renewing the license of each of the respective licensees for a period of 1 year. And finally, you have before you Order 2023-58 pursuant to Indiana Code Section 4-33-24-15 and 68 Indiana Administrative Code Section 26-3-10. A paid fantasy sports operator license must be renewed each year along with the payment of a $5,000 renewal fee. Each of the following certificate holders has submitted a timely request for renewal along with the required payment. And that would be DK Crown Holdings Incorporated and FanDuel Incorporated. Approving Order 2023-58 would have the effect of renewing the license for each of the respective licensees for a period of 1 year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Neal. Is there a motion on orders 2023-53 through 2023-58?
Commissioner, I'll make a motion to approve orders 2023-53 through orders 2023-58.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for an approval of those orders. All those in favor signify by stating aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mullen?
Yes, good morning. Before you that order 2023-59, permanent licensure for Neo Games. As we recall, Neo Games last meeting, but was tabled due to unresolved concerns regarding one of Neo Games' substantial owners. Direction staff, March, excuse me, was at June. Message and reported to commission staff will resolve substantial satisfaction of commission staff. Details regarding that resolution. Later in May, it was announced publicly that technologies that require 100% aristocrat technologies licensed supplier. Finalizing this acquisition is anticipated 12 months at least to obtain the requisite regulatory approvals. Given the resolution that has occurred regarding a substantial owner and subsequent acquisition announcement, staff no longer has concerns regarding suitability of this applicant. Staff's full background report of the applicant was provided in the commission materials, and 2023-59 would have the effect of granting license. I'm happy to answer questions you have regarding this.
Thank you, Mr. Mullen. I, first of all, just want to acknowledge the hard work of staff as well as with Neo Games. I was concerned about the lingering nature of that matter and stated so, I think, in a firm way here today. And I wanted to thank everyone to participate to bring that in compliance. I would hope that that sets precedent for when these matters are presented, that they are done with a great deal of diligence and recognizing the commission's efforts and time about that. So again, thank you, staff, as well as Neo Games, for that resolution. Therefore, I'm going to see if there is a motion on the order 2023-59.
I move to approve order 2023-59.
And is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, I'm going to call for a vote on the motion. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, that is approved. Director of Financial Investigations, Danielle Leak, would you now present orders 2023-60 through 62?
Good morning, Commissioners and Executive Staff. Order 2023-60 will approve the permanent supplier license for Gaming Arts LLC. Orders 2023-61 and 2023-62 will approve the permanent sports wagering vendor licenses for WSI US LLC, doing business as WinBet, and Bally's Interactive LLC, doing business as Ballybet. Each of these companies and their key persons have submitted the required applications and received temporary licenses issued by the IGC. Commission staff conducted background and financial investigations on the companies, along with their substantial owners and key persons. Commission staff found no material derogatory information that would affect suitability for any of the applicants. Staff's final reports have been provided in the confidential commission meeting documents. Approving orders 2023-60 through 2023-62 will grant the permanent licenses to Gaming Arts, WSI US, and Bally's Interactive, each subject to annual renewal. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions of Ms. Lick, commissioners? If not, is there a motion on orders 2023-60 through 2023-62?
I will make that motion to approve.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any questions? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, the motion approves. Thank you. Withdrawal of license applications by the Director of Sports Wagering and Paid Fantasy Sports, Sarah Martin, will now present order 2023-63 regarding Maxim's Bets license application withdrawal.
Good morning, Commissioners. Before you is Order 2023-63 concerning the withdrawal request of CG Indiana LLC, DBA MaximBet. On March 9th, 2022, MaximBet submitted a sports wagering vendor license application. After conducting a preliminary review of the application on April 27th, 2022, Commission staff issued a temporary license to MaximBet pursuant to the authority described under Indiana Code 4-38-7. The temporary license permitted MaximBet to begin conducting business in Indiana. On September 20th, 2022, MaximBet launched its sports wagering operations in Indiana. On November 14th, 2022, MaximBet notified the IGC of its intent to dissolve and wind down MaximBet and submitted a proposed wind down plan to Commission staff. Commission staff approved MaximBet's wind down proposal. On or about December 28th, 2022, CG Indiana LLC filed a Chapter 7 bankruptcy petition in the U.S. Bankruptcy Court for the District of Delaware. Pursuant to legal advice provided by the Indiana Office of the Attorney General, the November 14th, 2022 notice of dissolution submitted by MaximBet acted as a request to withdraw its application for permanent licensure. The temporary vendor license issued to MaximBet states, in pertinent part, MaximBet may not withdraw its application for a vendor license without leave of the Commission. Commission staff has conducted a thorough review of the circumstances surrounding MaximBet's dissolution, bankruptcy, and request to withdraw its application for permanent licensure. After consultation with the OAG, Commission staff has determined that MaximBet's withdrawal request is for a proper purpose and is necessary. Granting MaximBet's request will have the effect of revoking MaximBet's temporary license, ensuring that any license fee paid to the Commission cannot be clawed back by the bankruptcy trustee. MaximBet's November 14th, 2022 notice of dissolution and request to withdraw its application for permanent licensure and temporary vendor license are included in the Commission meeting documents. Confidential attorney-client communications between Commission staff and the OAG are also included in the Commission meeting documents. Commission staff recommends approval of Order 2023-63 and as mentioned, will have the effect of withdrawing MaximBet's license for permanent or application for permanent licensure.
Any questions of Director Martin? There are no questions. Is there a motion on order 2023-63? Have a motion from the commissioners?
So I'll make a motion.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Hearing none, the motion carries. Thank you, Director. Disciplinary actions. Director of Compliance, Ms. Mutton.
Good morning.
Morning.
You have before you 7 settlement agreements concerning disciplinary action against licensed suppliers, 12 settlement agreements concerning disciplinary action against casinos, and 9 settlement agreements concerning disciplinary action against sports wagering operators. Order 2023-64 is a settlement agreement with Aristocrat Technologies wherein the supplier violated the rules for shipping electronic gaming devices on multiple occasions. Aristocrat agreed to a monetary settlement of $7,500. Order 2023-65 is a settlement agreement with Emelco UK Limited, wherein the supplier failed to submit their company's 3-year reinvestigation application and 6 corresponding level 1 license applications in a timely manner. Emelco agreed to a monetary settlement of $14,000. Order 2023-66 is a settlement agreement with Ainsworth Game Technology, wherein the supplier violated the rules for shipping electronic gaming devices. Ainsworth agreed to a monetary settlement of $1,500. Order 2023-67 is a settlement agreement with IGT and includes 2 counts. In count 1, IGT violated the rules for shipping electronic gaming devices on 2 separate occasions. In count 2, IGT failed to notify the commission of licensee position changes in a timely manner. IGT agreed to a monetary settlement of $3,500. Order 2023-68 is a settlement agreement with Interblock Luxury Gaming Products, wherein the supplier failed to file a level 1 license application in a timely manner and allowed non-licensed individuals to perform the duties of a level 1 licensee for 87 days. Interblock agreed to a monetary settlement of $4,500. Order 2023-69 is a settlement agreement with Canby Group doing business as Sports Information Limited, wherein the supplier failed to file a level 1 license application in a timely manner and provided inaccurate information to commission on a potential licensee, which led to an individual not being licensed for 3.5 years. Sports Information Limited agreed to a monetary settlement of $10,000. Order 2023-70 is a settlement agreement with L&W Gaming doing business as Light and Wonder, wherein the supplier violated the rules for shipping electronic gaming devices on 2 separate occasions. Light and Wonder agreed to a monetary settlement of $3,000. Order 2023-71 is a settlement agreement with Ameristar East Chicago and includes 3 counts. Count 1, Ameristar violated the rules and their internal control procedures on child support delinquency reporting. In count 2, Ameristar violated the electronic gaming device rules when a progressive electronic gaming device had the incorrect progressive amount for approximately 4 months, and another electronic gaming device had incorrect settings. In count 3, Ameristar violated the rules for the voluntary exclusion program when a voluntary exclusion program audit identified data discrepancies and that Ameristar had failed to properly restrict or flag participants of the program in their gaming system. Ameristar East Chicago agreed to a monetary settlement of $15,250. Order 2023-72 is a settlement agreement with Bally's Evansville and includes 5 counts. In count 1, Bally's violated the rules in their internal control procedures on child support delinquency reporting. In count 2, Bally's allowed a minor to obtain access to the gaming floor. In count 3, Bally's violated the rules for sports wagering prohibited participants by failing to provide 4 prohibited participants to their mobile sports wagering operator. In count 4, Bally's violated the rules for table fills. In count 5, Bally's violated the rules for the voluntary exclusion program by allowing a participant of the program to obtain hotel comps, food and beverage comps, check cashing privileges, free play, and numerous marketing mailers. Bally's Evansville agreed to a monetary settlement of $83,350. Order 2023-73 is a settlement agreement with Belterra Resort, Indiana, and includes 2 counts. In count 1, Belterra violated the rules and their internal control procedures on child support arrears delinquency reporting. In count 2, Belterra violated the rules for progressive electronic gaming devices when it was determined that progressive electronic gaming devices were not incrementing correctly. Belterra agreed to a monetary settlement of $6,000. Order 2023-74 is a settlement agreement with Blue Chip Casino and includes 2 counts. In count 1, Blue Chip violated the rules and their internal control procedures on child support arrears delinquency reporting. In count 2, Blue Chip failed to notify surveillance when a table credit was processed. Blue Chip agreed to a monetary settlement of $7,000. Order 2023-75 is a settlement agreement with Caesar Southern Indiana and includes 2 counts. In count one, Caesar Southern Indiana violated the rules and their internal control procedures on child support arrears delinquency reporting. In count two, Caesar Southern Indiana failed to verify a poker even exchange. Caesar Southern Indiana agreed to a monetary of $10,000. Order 2023-76 is a settlement agreement with French Lick Resort Casino, wherein the casino failed to notify surveillance when a patron exceeded the multiple transaction log level while playing at a table game on 2 separate occasions. French Lick agreed to a monetary settlement of $3,000. Order 2023-77 is a settlement agreement with Hard Rock Northern Indiana and includes 7 counts. In count one, Hard Rock violated the rules for electronic gaming devices when the jackpot limit was set incorrectly on an electronic gaming device. In count two, Hard Rock failed to submit a debt transaction to the commission for review and approval. In count three, Hard Rock allowed a minor to obtain access to the gaming floor. In count four, Hard Rock violated the rules for playing cards. In count five, Hard Rock violated the rules for sensitive keys. In count six, Hard Rock violated the rules for table fills. In count seven, Hard Rock violated the rules for the vendor log. Hard Rock Northern Indiana agreed to a monetary settlement of $28,000. Order 2023-78 is a settlement agreement with Harris Hoosier Park and includes 2 counts. In count one, Hoosier Park violated the rules and their internal control procedures on child support arrears delinquency reporting. In count two, Hoosier Park violated the rules for sensitive keys. Harris Hoosier Park agreed to a monetary settlement of $12,000. Order 2023-79 is a settlement agreement with Hollywood Lawrenceburg and includes 3 counts. In count one, Hollywood violated the rules and their internal control procedures on child support arrears delinquency reporting. In count two, Hollywood violated the rules and their internal control procedures on the bill validator drop process and the soft count process. Hollywood also failed to notify the commission's audit staff of a variance that occurred during the bill validator drop and count. In count three, Hollywood violated the rules for the vendor log. Hollywood agreed to a monetary settlement of $16,000. Order 2023-80 is a settlement agreement with Horseshoe Hammond and includes 2 counts. In count one, Horseshoe Hammond violated the rules for playing cards. In count two, Horseshoe Hammond violated the rules for the bill validator drop and count process on numerous occasions. Horseshoe Hammond agreed to a monetary settlement of $6,000. Order 2023-81 is a settlement agreement with Horseshoe Indianapolis and includes 9 counts. In count one, Horseshoe Indianapolis failed to adhere to their commission-approved internal control procedures, their emergency response plan on file with the commission, and failed to provide proper oversight of gaming activities as required during an emergency event. Horseshoe Indianapolis failed to properly secure assets and security requirements were compromised. Gaming operations continued in potentially hazardous areas and despite the loss of surveillance coverage. In count two, Horseshoe Indianapolis violated the rules and their internal control procedures by accepting Tito tickets at table games. In count three, Horseshoe Indianapolis violated the rules on manually paid jackpots when on 10 occasions a casino employee failed to sign a verifier for a jackpot. In count four, Horseshoe Indianapolis violated the rules and their internal control procedures during multiple violations in the poker cage. Horseshoe Indianapolis failed to secure assets, failed to follow proper money handling procedures, failed to follow required sensitive key procedures, and failed to follow multiple transaction log procedures. In count five, Horseshoe Indianapolis violated the rules and their internal control procedures during multiple violations in the retail sports book. Horseshoe Indianapolis failed to secure assets, failed to follow proper money handling procedures, and failed to follow proper sensitive key procedures. In count six, Horseshoe Indianapolis violated the rules for sensitive keys. In count seven, Horseshoe Indianapolis violated the rules for table fills. In count eight, Horseshoe Indianapolis violated the rules for cage variances. And in count nine, Horseshoe Indianapolis violated the rules for the vendor log. Horseshoe Indianapolis agreed to a monetary settlement of $73,500 and to submit a corrective action plan for count one and count six, detailing the steps Horseshoe Indianapolis has taken to prevent a similar emergency response in the future and how Horseshoe Indianapolis is going to address the chain of custody protocol with sensitive keys. Order 2023-82 is a settlement agreement with Rising Star and includes 2 counts. In count one, Rising Star violated the rules and their internal control procedures for child support arrears delinquency reporting. In count two, Rising Star violated the surveillance staffing rules by leaving the surveillance room unattended for approximately 9 minutes. Rising Star agreed to a monetary settlement of $4,000. Order 2023-83 is a settlement agreement with Digital Gaming Corporation Limited, doing business as Betway, wherein Betway violated the rules for sports wagering prohibited participants when they failed to properly restrict multiple prohibited participants. Betway agreed to a monetary settlement of $4,750. Order 2023-84 is a settlement agreement with Seminole Hard Rock Digital and includes 2 counts. In count 1, Hard Rock Digital failed to notify the commission of multiple terminations in a timely manner. In count 2, Hard Rock Digital violated the rules for sports wagering events, and 65 unapproved events were offered by Hard Rock Digital. Hard Rock Digital agreed to a monetary settlement of $67,500. Order 2023-85 is a settlement agreement with Betfair Interactive US, doing business as FanDuel Sportsbook, and includes 6 counts. In count 1, FanDuel failed to properly restrict sports wagering prohibited participants. In count 2, FanDuel failed to notify the commission of numerous terminations in a timely manner. In count 3, FanDuel failed to comply with commission deadlines and failed to submit fingerprints for licensees in a timely manner. In count 4, FanDuel failed to submit a level 1 license application to the commission in a timely manner. In count 5, FanDuel failed to timely and appropriately respond on numerous occasions to the commission during an investigation and supply the requested information. The commission's investigation found that FanDuel failed to comply with commission rules with regard to funding wagering accounts. 8 individuals were able to utilize an Arizona Federal Credit Union card belonging to a retired public servant and his spouse and conduct deposits and wagering with a credit card that did not belong to them. The commission confirmed that the individuals from whom these funds were fraudulently taken have indicated great harm as a result of these activities. In count 6, FanDuel violated the rules on funding wagering accounts and failed to detect that 2 individuals were using each other's prepaid cards to facilitate deposits into their online sports wagering accounts. FanDuel agreed to a monetary settlement of $136,000. Order 2023-86 is a settlement agreement with Winter Circle Brew Pub and Off Track Betting New Haven, wherein OTB New Haven violated the rules and their internal control procedures on child support arrears delinquency reporting. OTB New Haven agreed to a monetary settlement of $1,000. Order 2023-87 is a settlement agreement with PointsBet Indiana, doing business as PointsBet, wherein PointsBet failed to timely submit a level 1 license application to the commission. The application was 145 days late. PointsBet agreed to a monetary settlement of $10,000. Order 2023-88 is a settlement agreement with BetMGM, doing business as Roar Digital, wherein Roar Digital failed to comply with commission deadlines and failed to submit fingerprints for licensees in a timely manner. Roar Digital agreed to a monetary settlement of $1,500. Order 2023-89 is a settlement agreement with Rush Street Interactive, doing business as Bet Rivers, and includes 2 counts. In count 1, Bet Rivers failed to notify the commission of multiple terminations in a timely manner. In count 2, Bet Rivers failed to submit a level 1 license application to the commission in a timely manner. The application was 172 days late. Bet Rivers agreed to a monetary settlement of $4,500. Order 2023-90 is a settlement agreement with Unibet Indiana, wherein Unibet failed to submit a level 1 license application to the commission in a timely manner. The application was 116 days late. Unibet agreed to a monetary settlement of $3,000. Order 2023-91 is a settlement agreement with WSI US, doing business as WinBet, wherein WinBet failed to notify the commission of license position changes in a timely manner. WinBet agreed to a monetary settlement of $1,000. Relevant details for each settlement agreement have been provided in your meeting materials. Each settlement agreement will also be available on the commission's website following the meeting. This concludes my presentation. Thanks.
Thank you, Director Button. I do have a question, maybe more so of a concern. When you mentioned under 2023-85, you'd mentioned after for the settlement agreement, there was someone that had great harm. Great
Yes.
harm alarms me.
Yes.
Why are we approving some settlement that somebody would has great harm and it hasn't been redressed?
Well, I would say that the compliance committee put forward a recommendation to the executive staff, and it was determined that we couldn't make restitution. The commission couldn't force restitution to those individuals. So in our communications with FanDuel, they didn't acknowledge that harm, but we found that in our investigation and felt it was important to be in the settlement.
Let me ask, well, while the commission cannot require restitution,
Mhm.
has restitution been made by FanDuel?
No,
That's concerning to me. Other commissioners, do you have any questions?
Yes, it's very concerning whenever restitution has been made by FanDuel to the couple that was injured.
Mhm. And we would have
That's
considered that a
something-
mitigating factor had they presented that to us, but in our negotiations and discussions with them, they did not present that and that never, ever even came up. They went as far as asking us to take that verbiage out of the settlement, but we refused because our investigation found that.
The other commissioners have concerns, as I have here.
Yes,
If you care to state them
yeah. I mean,
for the record.
we understand. I don't think we have a problem with you all.
Mhm.
We just see that there was a couple that was harmed.
Mhm.
Great
and,
harm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And understanding, it could have been a life savings. And I think FanDuel has some responsibility
Mhm.
here.
Do you want Manny to speak to the amount?
Let me ask a question. Is there anything public that's not confidential that you can go into more detail about the harm?
Is it okay for Manny to talk about that?
Mr. Mullen,
I think we should probably avoid specific details, just out of deference and protection of the couple at this stage.
understood.
Has staff had an opportunity to sit down with FanDuel and work with them extensively to ensure that something like this doesn't happen again in the future, to ensure that they're doing everything in their power to make sure that there are safeguards in place, or does staff need more time to do that? Because I think the commission's very concerned about not only the amount of great harm, but also how they avoid and what safeguards are put in place in the future.
They've had discussions around specific settlement. We also have a meeting planned tomorrow. They brought executives in, their council is here as well. We are engaging in, I think, some ongoing discussions with their direction moving forward.
I'm not sure I have a comfort level to approve this today. I know the settlement was negotiated in good faith. But when I see someone with that kind of harm,
Yes.
I want to be sure that we're doing everything in our power to be sure that we can have mitigated the harm to someone
Mhm.
on our watch. I would respectfully ask that we table this particular one until another time, until these further discussions with staff, and I would direct staff to have those conversations and to submit that information to us when there is relevant satisfaction to those terms, and to make sure there's not that kind of significant harm to someone. Life savings is a harm. It's not just a little harm. It's a great harm. So I think there can be something that be worked out, and I would direct it that way. Any other questions on that particular settlement agreement? If not, if we absent that, would the commissioners, yes, sir.
Chair, just for clarification for staff, similar to NeoGames last meeting,
Right.
is the direction of the commissioners to have commission staff have this item on the agenda. in
Yes,
September.
that is direction for the next commission meeting. Then we could have you look at more detail relative to what is called great harm.
Mhm.
That sentence alarms me. So when I hear great harm and someone's great harmed, I think that we've got to look at everything for that purpose. Thank you, Ms. Director Bunt. Any other questions of Ms. Bunt? Any other questions?
No.
Chair,
Yes.
it does like Representative Randall is request that question. Sure.
Sir. Yes, Counselor.
Yes, my name is Philip Sakuso, Bose McKinney and Evans, representing FanDuel. With the respect to the rest of the counts in the settlement, are those authorized or are you just,
Yeah, I think so. Just that
okay,
one particular council, one that I have some concerns about. And,
Okay.
Other commissioners of the other counts seem to be an appropriate part of the settlement. So that piece of the settlement.
Okay, I appreciate that clarification. So,
clarification.
and just,
Because the settlement has already been negotiated, and signed by the executive director, I think it might be cleaner just to hold the entire agreement until next meeting. Those items
I see,
On any subsequent.
with respect to the settlement document, you mean?
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
But you don't have any other concerns
No,
about those counts?
I
Okay,
didn't have any concerns as chair and the other commissioners. I think when we've had our confidential documents and that we reviewed them, that was the one that kind of stuck out with me at
Okay.
that particular count. So with advice of counsel, Mullen, we would perfectly submit that we hold this and get it back on the agenda once those conversations have been had. With that exception, I'm going to call for a motion to accept the settlement offers on orders 2023 through 64 through 2023 through 91.
Excluding order.
Yes, excluding order 85, correct.
I would
I'll
make that,
Go ahead.
I would make that motion
I'll
to
second.
approve.
Been motion and seconded. Any further discussion on all of these? Nice work on the staff to be able to negotiate these things. These are not easy.
Thank you.
Particularly when people's lives are engaged. So we always want to thank you for working hard for those. Having heard that, is there a motion for approval?
Aye.
Not, oh, that, you have a motion.
Yeah,
We already had the motion.
Yeah.
Thanks for keeping the share honest here, folks. I've forgotten a lot since 44 years ago in law school. I can't remember it all. I can't remember yesterday part of the time. But that's another story. All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Our mobile vote included.
Commissioner Houseman, how do you vote?
Aye. All right. Those opposed, same sign. The motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director Button. Attorney Viola, we're going to do some occupational licenses.
Commissioners, you have before you orders 2023-92 through 2023-93 concerning the felony waiver applications of Melvin Wimberly and James Mannion. An individual who has been convicted of a felony may not be granted an occupational license. However, an applicant who has been convicted of a felony can request a waiver if he establishes by clear and convincing evidence that he has been rehabilitated. Mr. Wimberly and Mr. Mannion provided testimony about the rehabilitation, demonstrated ownership of past mistakes, demonstrated that these were isolated incidents, and showed that they successfully completed probation. Detailed information concerning these orders are contained in your confidential commission materials, and adopting staff's findings and recommendations would have the effect of granting Mr. Wimberly and Mr. Mannion's felony waiver applications.
There a motion on orders 2023-91 and 93?
I move to approve.
Motion approved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. Any questions on the felony waivers? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, the motion is approved.
You now have before you orders 2023-94 through 2023-99 concerning applications for an occupational license to work for Indiana licensees. With regard to these orders, applicants failed to disclose their complete criminal history and/or had a felony conviction and therefore failed to meet the established standards for licensure. The applicants were given an opportunity to withdraw their applications from consideration but failed to do so. Detailed information regarding these orders is contained in your confidential commission materials, and approving orders 2023-94 through 2023-99 would have the effect of denying these applications.
Questions, Ms. Viola? Is there a motion on orders 2023-94 through 2023-99?
So moved. To approve.
There's a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
There's a motion and a second. Any questions? And then we'll call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, the motion is approved.
Next, you have before you orders 2023-100 through 2023-109. These orders concern settlement agreements between commission staff and occupational licensees. In lieu of disciplinary action, commission staff offered each of these licensees a settlement agreement that would have them agree to an unpaid voluntary relinquishment of their occupational license for a period of regularly scheduled working days with no vacation or other paid time off to be used. Each of these licensees has agreed to the terms of the settlement agreements. Detailed information regarding these matters is contained in the confidential materials that have been provided to the commission. Approving orders 2023-100 through 2023-109 would have the effect of ratifying the agreements with occupational licensees.
Any questions? Is there a motion on orders 2023-100 through 2023-109?
Move to approve.
Second?
Second that.
Motion. Motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Counselor. Transfer of ownership. Mr. Dudley.
Morning,
Proceed, sir.
Commissioners. Morning, Executive Staff. Commissioners, Order 2023-110 involves an ownership transfer request between supplier licensee United Tote Company and NYRA Content Management Solutions LLC. Upon receiving the transfer application, the Commission completed a background and financial investigation, finding that the transferee was substantially compliant with the Indiana statutes and regulations, and finding no derogatory information that would affect the transferee's suitability for holding the interest in United Tote. Approving Order 2023-110 would have the effect of approving the ownership transfer request. Thank you.
Any questions about that? Is there a motion to approve?
I'd make that motion to approve.
There's a motion and a second.
I'll second.
Motion's seconded. Any questions? All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye, please.
Aye.
Those aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Hearing that, the motion is approved. Thank you, Mr. Dudley.
Next, you have before you Order 2023-111 concerning Terre Haute Casino Resorts request to change its written power of attorney. Said request propose appointing Austin Miller as its power of attorney pursuant to statute. Each casino licensee must submit for approval by the commission a written power of attorney identifying the person who, if approved, would serve as the casino licensee's trustee to operate the casino. The power of attorney submitted under this subsection must, 1, be executed in the manner required by IC 30-5, 2, describe the powers that may be delegated to the proposed trustee, and 3, conform with the requirement established by commission under IC 4-33-4-3A10. Approving Order 2023-111 would have the effect of granting Terre Haute's request. Thank you.
There's a motion on order 2023 to 1111. Change the power of attorney.
I'll make a motion to
There's a
approve.
motion. Second.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, the motion carries.
Last, Commissioners, you have before you Order 2023-212, and it concerns a settlement agreement reached in a voluntarily exclusion program forfeiture proceeding between the commission and John Doe number 17. Given the nature of the VEP, the settlement agreement is contained in your confidential materials. Approving Order 2023-212 would have the effect of ratifying the settlement agreement.
I think it's 112.
Is it 112?
12, yes.
Yeah, my apologies. 112. Sorry, I have it written here wrong. Apologize.
Well, thank you. Is there a motion on order 2023 to 112?
I'll make
Motion.
that motion.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, the motion is approved. Thank you, Mr. Deputy
Thank you.
General Counsel. Before we go on to the rest of the menu, Paula, perhaps you could help clarify when we say that we have confidential packages, so things that are not outside the realm of public meeting, that may involve personnel matters or some other crucial matters that need to be held in confidence. So I just want to be sure that we are clear with our public. You might maybe you could maybe clarify a moment.
Yeah. So mission as part of its responsibilities from contact, for instance, financial information is confidential by statute. Licensees in the right place that discussing those items may detrimentally impacting economically. So those held confidential as part of the office. General counsel suspension program is a confidential program by statute. Personal licensees, statute dictates to release public. These settlement agreements for actions that were we have certain aspects of that. And transparency, of course, to our agency, but also so the confidentiality of this information.
It is very helpful. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure our general publics had a good understanding of that we're not sitting here in a dark room hiding secrets. So we're open and transparent, but we also want to be protective and mindful of what laws we operate under and with and through. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Mr. Director, I know that you're prepared for a presentation or two.
Yes, first off, we're very, very pleased to have with us Casey Clark. He's a senior vice president with the American Gaming Association. And obviously, sports wagering has been a very hot topic, not just here in Indiana, but across the country. And the AGA has been on the forefront of establishing protocols in responsible gaming, specifically related to advertising of sports wagering. And I know Casey's sort of been at the spearhead of that. We're really excited to have him tell us a little bit about that program. So Casey, if you would.
Thank you, Mr. Clark.
Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, executive staff. Thank you for the invitation to be with you this morning. My name is Casey Clark. As Executive Director Small said, I'm a Senior Vice President at the American Gaming Association. As you may know, the American Gaming Association is the leading advocate for the U.S. casino gambling industry, representing commercial and tribal operators, gaming manufacturers, sports betting, and iGaming companies, and other allied businesses with a vested interest in the ongoing success of the gaming industry. Our team of 25 works to foster a policy and business environment where legal, regulated gaming thrives. Sorry, just make sure this is gonna advance the slide. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Said the switch was going to do it. Okay. Well, okay. So, oh, thank you. Usually it is. So thank you for that clarification. Even if it is, I appreciate the cover. Our team of 25 works to foster a policy and business environment where legal, regulated gaming thrives. We do so by working collaboratively with key stakeholders, including the more than 5,000 dedicated regulators across the country. Thank you for what you do and for letting me spend a little time with you this morning. Spurred by recent updates to our responsible marketing code for sports wagering, Executive Director Small asked me to share an overview of the AGA's efforts on our #1 priority, responsible gaming. While I'll speak largely about our activities in the sports betting space, it's important to note that the AGA members have been committed to responsible gaming long before there was a PASPA, let alone a Supreme Court decision invalidating it. It's been foundational to brick and mortar gaming operations, our licensure in strong gaming markets like Indiana, and to our social license to operate everywhere. Beyond the few programs I'll touch on this morning, AGA members also commit to adhering to core standards within our code of conduct for responsible gaming. RG is part of AGA member responsibility to our customers and aligns closely with our work to attract, grow, and retain exceptional employees and contribute meaningfully and significantly to our communities. I'll start by sharing a little color on the genesis of our responsible marketing code and its evolution. Before the PASPA decision, the AGA spent a considerable amount of time engaging with stakeholders to better understand what a legal market could be in a leading gaming market like Indiana. This included engagement with industry colleagues in mature global sports betting markets where we could learn from where they had succeeded and steer clear of where they stumbled. Following the court's decision, the AGA worked closely with our members to create a robust set of self-regulation of how responsible businesses should market newly legal products and services to American consumers. We modeled our code on successful self-regulatory systems that have been in place in the beer and distilled spirits industry since Prohibition. This initial set of commitments was first published in 2019, and the enforcement process followed in 2020. Allowing any member of the public to file a complaint for noncompliance on AGA's website, americangaming.org. Our intent was to ensure anyone doing business in the legal marketplace in America was held to core operational and marketing standards. At its core, the code does just that, holding anyone operating in the US, whether an AGA member or not, to standards that restrict advertising and marketing content and placements to places where a majority of the audience is over the age of 21, prohibit direct marketing and advertising in university media, promote responsible gaming education, and ensure the use of age gating tools to prohibit access to those under the legal gambling age. Today, the code proactively informs marketing and advertising strategies of the legal sports betting industry across the country. And in some markets, the core tenets of the code were written into regulatory language, effectively codifying our collective work as standard operating procedure. We always knew that the code would need to evolve as the legal market expanded and matured. So earlier this year, we worked again with our members to ensure these commitments reflected the now widespread legal sports betting landscape across the country. Among the updates made this year, the code now prohibits new partnerships between gaming companies and universities that promote, market, or advertise sports wagering, prohibit direct name, image, and likeness deals with amateur athletes, ensure that any individual featured in marketing and advertising is over 21, extends commitments to target those over 21, including in markets where the legal gambling age is 18, prohibits the use of risk-free language in advertising content, and formalizes an annual review process. These updates largely reflect the evolution of the legal industry, and we expect to continue to make similar updates as markets continue to mature. It's important to note that while the code is working as intended to guide marketing and advertising practices, sportsbook marketing plays an integral role in migrating better action away from the pervasive and predatory illegal market. American adults who bet on sports are only protected when their activity is done within the regulated marketplace, and advertising is a core tool used to ensure an informed public about what is legal in their market. In fact, AGA research shows that advertising is one of the top reasons bettors cite for migrating away from the illegal market. And it's working. Our collective efforts are putting a sizable dent in the illegal market, eroding their market share by as much as 60% since the PASPA decision. Another of our programs is our public service campaign, Have a Game Plan, Bet Responsibly. We knew ahead of the PASPA decision that a sustainable legal sports betting business in America would require every stakeholder sharing a responsibility for responsibility. Working together, everyone with a vested interest in the sustainability of these new markets can help create a better informed public, enhance available resources and their adoption, and equip American adults who want to bet on sports with the tools to do so responsibly. We built Have a Game Plan around 4 core principles of responsible gambling. setting budgets and sticking to them, playing socially with friends, understanding and learning the rules of the games you're playing and what the odds mean, and playing only with legal regulated operators. We know that Americans were betting on sports before the 2018 decision, and today are betting on sports in unregulated markets. Ensuring an informed public about what's legal while working collaboratively with regulatory bodies, law enforcement, and others to crack down on illegal gambling is essential to protecting American consumers. To date, the AGA has brought together more than 30 partners from across the sports betting ecosystem, including Indiana operators BetMGM, DraftKings, FanDuel, Penn Entertainment, and Rush Street Interactive. Each of these partners supports the programs uniquely, promotes it to their audiences, and balances their promotional efforts with essential responsible gaming content. Some examples of what that looks like in practice are available here on the slides, where you see in-venue advertising, on broadcast displays, social media content, and more. These programs, coupled with bespoke campaigns of legal operators, are making a difference. More people are seeing and engaging with RG content and resources than ever before. The younger demographic of American sports bettors understand the importance of betting with legal operators, and a majority of past year bettors are taking notice of the industry's commitment to responsible gaming. Another core AGA program has been working collaboratively to eliminate obstacles to help for anyone who needs it through efforts to streamline helpline resources. The vital role played by institutions like the Indiana Council on Problem Gambling can't be overstated, and the industry's continued investments to support these resources have never been greater. But outdated requirements from multi-state advertising were creating massive confusion through jumbled small print, the bottom of out-of-home and print advertisements, and speed reading of up to a dozen phone numbers during short TV and radio spots. And that says nothing about outdated requirements that don't account for chat or text support. The result, of course, is unnecessary and potentially harmful friction for someone looking for help. The AGA and our members were first to publicly call for a streamlined helpline, educating regulators on the use of one national number. Indiana was one of the very first states to make that change in September of 2021, enabling efficiencies, eliminating redundancies, and obstacles to care for those who need it. Since that time, more than a dozen states have followed your lead. This is one example of how the AGA and our members continue to work to advance responsible gaming in partnership with progressive leaders like the IGC. Lastly, I want to touch on Responsible Gaming Education Month. Traditionally celebrated over a week, we expanded RG Week to RG Month last year. And while responsible gaming is always our priority, September is now a concentrated time dedicated to employee and consumer education about tools and resources available. This fall, we'll focus activities on core themes for each week throughout September: empowering customers, the importance of legal gaming and its protections, responsibility as fundamental to culture, and research needed to advance RG. We welcome everyone's participation, including the IGC, in reinforcing responsible gambling education and highlighting our collective efforts throughout September. We welcome everyone's participation, including responsible gambling education, and highlighting our collective efforts throughout September. We welcome everyone's participation, including responsible gambling education. The repetitions for importance. It's emphasis. Yeah, it's for emphasis. So thank you again for the opportunity to be with you this morning and share some thoughts on the AGA and its members' ongoing commitments to responsible gaming. Our collaboration with leading regulatory bodies like the IGC and dedicated individuals like yourselves is critically important to the AGA and to the sustainability of a responsible legal gambling industry. So we welcome any questions you might have, and of course, any further discussion you'd like to have now or going forward.
Of course, thank you, Mr. Clark, for your time. Commissioners, do you have any questions of Mr. Clark? I applaud your efforts. Continue with that.
Yes.
It's not just a month either.
Agreed.
It's not just a September. This is should be a year-round educational proposition so that our publics are well informed. Just like we try to be on the commission, we operate by information. The more information, the better.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you, Casey.
Mr. Small?
Next up, at the request of the chairman, we're going to have Sarah Martin, who is our director of advanced sports and sports wagering. And this is something that we envision doing on a go-forward basis at each meeting, having one of our division heads do a presentation. The chairman thought that it was important for the public to know exactly what it is that we do internally. This is the start, and we figured we'd pair her with Casey's presentation on the sports wagering advertising, and it would be a good place for us to start. And I believe we may have compliance up next in September. So
Thank you for following through.
that's to look forward to. And everybody else, you're on the clock and you'll be up next. So I see Garth. So.
Oh.
Sarah, if you would.
Uh-oh, I think I'm having some technical. Okay. All right. Good morning, commissioners again. Again, my name is Sarah Martin. I'm the director of sports wagering and paid fantasy sports. A little background on myself. I've been with the Gaming Commission since 2018. I stepped into the role of director of sports wagering in December of 2021. Prior to that, I was the agency's licensed control counsel, where I provided legal support to our charity gaming division and our law enforcement, as well as served as the agency's ethics officer. So up on the screen, we have our division. We're a 5-member division, myself, and then we have Assistant Director Leah Foster, who came to us from the Department of Workforce Development. Leah is a certified fraud examiner and a master's degree in accounting. We also have Josie Conrad, who's our Assistant Director of Licensing. Previously, she was the executive assistant to our executive staff. We also have 2 dedicated sports wagering investigators as well, Christy Snyder and Kevin Zepak. So shout out to my division who may be watching. So just to give a brief overview of sports wagering in Indiana, in 2019, the General Assembly legalized sports wagering for persons 21 years of age and older. And I'm sorry for all the legal sites. I'm a lawyer by trade, so I'm really heavy on the legal citations here. So that's just something I like to include, but that's up there. So our statute allows sports wagering to take place at any of the Indiana licensed casinos, racinos, and off-track betting parlors, as well as via mobile device. Statute establishes the Gaming Commission as the regulatory oversight body for sports wagering, and it also establishes a 9.5% tax rate on the adjusted gross receipts. I'm going to go through our license types that are involved with sports wagering, starting with sort of the top level, which is our certificate of authority holders. Those are going to be the casinos, racinos, and off-track betting facilities that are eligible under statute for the certificate of authority license. These licensees may conduct sports wagering directly, or they may choose to contract with a vendor to conduct sports wagering on its behalf. These licensees are subject to occupational licensing requirements, and then a couple of examples listed here. Ameristar East Chicago, that's a casino. Horseshoe Indianapolis is a racino, and then Winter Circle Clarksville is one of our off-track betting facilities. Sort of the second level of sports wagering license type is a vendor, and those are going to be your retail or online and mobile sports wagering operators. You might hear the term sports wagering operator. That just means either the certificate of authority holder or a vendor that actually conducts it. I think of that as the customer facing operator. Certificate of authority holders, again, may conduct retail sports wagering directly or contract with a vendor. We currently have 13 licensed. Oh, I don't know why it says online. That's a typo. Sorry about that. We have 13 licensed certificate holders. These are subject to occupational licensing requirements, and then, or I'm sorry, that's correct. Strike that. We have 13 licensed online sports wagering operators. They are subject to occupational licensing requirements. And then I have 4 examples listed here, and they are listed in an order. We have FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM, Caesars Sportsbook. Those are generally our top market holders market shareholders in terms of our licensees. So I actually did the math, and 89% of sports wagering handle in the state in May of 2023 came from these online operators. Next, we have suppliers. These are It's the same license type as casino suppliers. These can be geolocation providers, platform suppliers. Some of them provide managed services to our sports wagering vendors and certificate holders. Currently, we have 11 licensed suppliers to provide sports wagering products and services. These licensees are also subject to occupational licensing requirements. And a few examples of those are GeoComply, a geolocation provider, Cambies, a sportsbook platform provider. White Hat Gaming is a PAM provider. GAN and Pella are also technology providers to our sports wagering operators. Next license type is sports wagering service provider. This is a lower level license type. I think of sort of the suppliers as providing services to the top level licensees, service providers. It's a lower license level. It doesn't require renewal. These are going to be your odds feed providers, data feed providers, integrity monitors, and risk management services to sports wagering operators. And again, they're not subject to occupational licensing or renewal. We have 12 currently licensed, and a few examples are US Integrity, Sport Radar, Genius Sports, and SimpleBet. US Integrity is an integrity monitor, and the other three are data feed and odds providers. Lastly, we have registrants. And a sports wagering registrant is sort of a catch-all category that is any individual or entity that's contracted to provide goods or services, and the commission makes a determination as to whether that entity would need licensure based on the type of services it provides. Our regulation provides that marketing affiliates are actually required to register. We also register payment processors as well. And again, this is a low-level licensure. They're not subject to occupational licensing or renewal. And some examples of those, I like to include the big names. So I have PayPal Inc. That's a payment processor. Pay with My Bank is also known as Trustly. And then Google LLC, I thought I'd put that one up there as a marketing affiliate, is also registered with the Gaming Commission. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about retail sports books and sort of the setup of retail sports books. So in order to operate a retail sports book, a certificate of authority holder license is necessary. And typically those are going to be at your casinos, racinos, and off-track betting facilities. And the way that sports wagering is conducted at those facilities is typically with a retail cashier and a ticket writer, or there are kiosks, or also known as self-service betting terminals on those at those licensed facilities. Currently, we have 14 retail sports books, and there's the list. We have 3 off-track betting facilities, and then the casinos and racinos are listed there. Online and mobile sports books, again, we have a vendor. You may also have heard the term skin referred to describe a licensed vendor. What that means is it's an individually branded or online mobile vendor. So an example would be FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM. Each certificate holder is allowed to contract with up to 3 online or mobile skins. And again, we have 13 currently licensed and operating. Here's a chart I made just to kind of compare the differences between retail and online. Retail is generally not account-based, although some of our casino properties do allow customers to use rewards cards with their sports wagering bets. Online, on the other hand, is 100% account-based. In the retail setting, credit cards are not allowed to be used to place wagers. In the online environment, credit cards are allowed for patrons to make deposits into their account and place wagers. In retail, the KYC is done in person. Online, the KYC is remote. Retail, again, the wagers placed in person at a counter or a kiosk in a licensed facility. For online, the bettor just has to be positively geolocated in Indiana. Again, retail is more conducive to traditional wagering on point spreads and money lines. Whereas online, because of the way the technology is developing, it's more conducive to the in-play, rapid betting and prop wagering. So let's see. I've got a couple examples here. No particular order of vendors and skins. So here, FanDuel, their certificate holder is Blue Chip Casino, and then one of their vendor skins is FanDuel. Ameristar East Chicago is the certificate holder, and they contract with DraftKings. Belterra contracts with BetMGM as a mobile vendor. Harris Hoosier Park contracts with Caesar Sportsbook as their vendor skin. French Lick contracts with Bet Rivers as a vendor skin. Hollywood Casino Lawrenceburg contracts with Barstool Sportsbook. So those, not an exhaustive list there, but just a few examples. So you get the idea. Indiana Code 4-38-5 is the chapter of the sports wagering article that establishes statutory requirements for the conduct. And then, of course, we have numerous regulations outlined in 68 IAC 27, which is our administrative rule. So I'm just going to go through a few statutory requirements that are in statute. So wagers can be placed at retail locations or online. That's in statute. Statute says that users may register online for an account. So they actually aren't required to come in person to register. It prohibits betting on high school or youth sporting events. It also prohibits wagering on esports. That's a difference from other jurisdictions that do allow wagering on esports. In-play wagering is specifically allowed by the statute. Statute does require that the commission approves events or markets for wagering. And then the house rules, this is not in statute, it's actually in the regulation, but it's a big part of what affects how bets are settled. And the house rules are very important to customers because it really describes exactly how every bet is going to be settled. So those rules have to be approved by the Gaming Commission. Let's see, and then I've got a few stats here on sports wagering handle since sports wagering was legalized in 2019. So you can see there that the handle has steadily increased. However, I'm going to get to a slide here later. You'll see the Ohio effect a little bit for 2023, but just for the commissioners and the public's knowledge, handle is the total amount of money wagered by bettors over a given period of time. So the total handle you'll see there is about 10.6 billion, that is billion with a B, spent in Indiana since 2019. And then AGR, of course, is the important figure that we use to calculate the tax amount that the operators pay to the state. And so you'll see a little bit, steady increase from 2019. And we have just over $1 billion in AGR since 2019. Oh, sorry, let me go back. And AGR is handle less winnings paid out to bettors over a given period of time and represents the taxable revenue. So here's probably an important report here. The tax reported by our retail and mobile operators since September we're getting very close to that $1 billion figure, $99 million, I'm sorry, 100 million. Sorry, I'm not a math major. As you can tell, I'm a lawyer. So we're almost to the $100 million mark there. But again, our statutory tax rate is 9.5% of AGR. And then just for comparison, there was a study that was conducted in 2018 prior to sports wagering being legalized that predicted about 23.7 million in tax revenue by year 5 based on a 9.25% rate. So it looks like we're doing a little better than that. So good news there. So this, as I mentioned earlier, Ohio legalized sports wagering, and they launched in January of 2023. So this chart just shows a little bit of the effect of Ohio making it legal for bettors there. We did benefit from folks driving across the border and placing wagers in Indiana for a period of time, but it has dropped off about 10 or 11% in terms of overall handle from 2022. Here's a little bit of information on demographics in the US. I found a few surveys that are out there. I went ahead and used this Ipsos national survey. It was conducted in February of 2023. And they found that about 8% of respondents had reported placing a bet online on a sporting event. 4% reported placing a bet at a retail location, and then 3% on esports. And as I mentioned, I chose this Ipsos survey. Pew Research also conducted a survey in September 2022 and found that 19% of the respondents placed wagers on a sporting event in the past year. So I think you'll see different figures from different surveys, but about, it looks like 15 to 20% maybe of the population bets on sports. The most popular leagues, according to that Ipsos survey, not very surprising here. NFL is the most popular, followed by the NBA, NCAA football, NCAA basketball, and Major League Baseball. Sports wagering demographics, here's a few more stats. Not surprisingly, 68% of sports bettors are men. 39% are under the age of 35. About half are white. 44% earn more than 100,000 annually. And just for a comparison, land-based casino patrons, according to data, they're a little more evenly split by gender, and the average age is certainly older than the sports bettor. So another piece of the survey I thought was interesting was that a strong majority of the bettors reported betting infrequently, once a month or less. 20% reported betting 2 to 3 times a month, and then 5% reported betting multiple times a week. And moving on to our responsible gaming requirements. So under our regulation, all of our operators are required, our online operators are required to have a responsible gaming page on their apps and on their website, which includes resources and information to get problem gamblers help that they need. They also are required to have links to the IGC's voluntary exclusion program and internet self-restriction program as well on their problem or responsible gambling page. They need to have problem gambling resources, which would include links to counseling services and information, as well as hotlines that were discussed earlier. Again, the advertising must have the 1-800-9-WITH-IT phone number for the in-state advertising, but we do allow the 1-800-GAMBLER for the multi-jurisdictional advertising. And then, of course, this is, I think, a really important part of the online sports wagering operators. They are required to offer patrons the ability to self-restrict. So they have to be able, they have to have tools in their apps and on their website where a user can impose deposit and wagering limits, as well as a cooling off period. I found a few some data out there about advertising spent and dollars spent from a source called Media Radar. They conducted a review and found that $738 million had been invested in 2022 in advertising by sports wagering operators. 69% of that $738 million went to national broadcast, cable TV, and print advertising. What they saw was in 2022, a significant decrease in spending on streaming services like Netflix and Hulu, probably pandemic related. And then 17% went to social media. And podcast advertising is also increasing. We've noticed a few marketing affiliate registrants that are podcasts that have signed up for a license with us recently. So I thought that's interesting. Top spenders, according to this Media Radar review, that they found DraftKings, FanDuel, and BetMGM accounted for 62% of the advertising investment. And moving forward, I think, at least according to this prediction, and I think this is reasonable prediction, that operators are going to shift to more digital advertising and targeted advertising as the market matures. And so with that, that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to field any questions if the commissioners have any questions for me. But otherwise, I hope that this was informative and that there's good information out there for the public as well.
Deputy Martin, it's blame me. I'm the one that's responsible for getting more information to the public and really for me as a nerd. I'm one of those that has more information, the better I operate by. So thank you very, very much. Any questions, Commissioner?
Yes, I do. Being a CPA, I've got to ask the question on the tax rate at 9.5% of adjusted gross revenue. What is backed out of gross revenue generally to get to that figure?
So in general, it's going to be the handle less the winnings paid out to the patrons.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, in Indiana, we do not back out promotions. Those are taxed.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah. So, but I think Casey may have mentioned getting rid of the risk-free bets. So some of our operators are now, in lieu of using the term risk-free, they'll say bonus bets or free bets or something like that seems to be the trend. And then, as Director Small mentioned, we do tax that revenue as well, so they can't deduct it. So that is included.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your presentation.
Any other questions from commissioners?
I have one. Sarah, could you tell us where are we on the divide between retail and online currently?
What do you mean? Like the percentage?
Correct.
Okay, so I would say probably a good 90 to 95% of wagering in terms of handle is coming from online operators. So that's pretty, I think, consistent across most jurisdictions. I think that folks just say, hey, if I can bet right here on my phone in my house, I'm going to do that. And then, of course, the online wagering is more popular, I think, with a younger demographic as well. So, so yeah, that is pretty much the divide between retail and online.
How do we compare as a state to any other kind of peer states, if you will?
Well, I will say Ohio's doing great in terms of revenue.
Right.
But is there anything specific?
No, I was just wondering how we're doing since we started in relatively early, but not an early mover. We're never first mover, but
yeah,
since we've gotten there, I see where the numbers are going up. And, yeah, just curious how we're doing compared to other states that maybe got started around the same time.
We have generally performed very well, especially based on the population number. Now with more states being online, some larger states like Ohio, we bumped down a little bit, but we're typically within the 5 to 7 overall.
But relatively, we're still high.
Relatively doing well.
Yep.
Yes.
Folks in Indiana are sports fans, and I think that helps with the betting as well. So they're enjoying it. Of course, we want it to be responsibly.
Certainly. Thank you.
All right.
Mark.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it. I also wanted to extend a thanks to our hosts. Appreciate the opportunity to be here. I know you've had an eventful month, but to the degree to which we are out here and welcome here, we want to let you know, and let other operators will be visiting throughout. I think our next meeting will be in September meeting. So want to continue with that state hopping around. And again, thank you for your wonderful hospitality. Do any other thing else from staff? Commissioners? Then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
Second.
And we shall adjourn. Let's stand in adjournment. Again, thank you.